Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's B.E.S.T standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go, I see you. And let's dive into today's B.E.S.T standard. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Sarah McCarthy, the creator of McCarthy Math Academy, and I'm super pumped that you are joining me today for breaking down this B.E.S.T standard, which happens to be MA.4.NSO.1.5. MA stands for Math, 4, 4th grade. NSO is number sense and operations. And 1.5 is the standard for today. So this standard says that students will be expected to plot, order, and compare decimal numbers up to the hundredths. Oh yes, we're going there. So plot. Plot means that they will have to place the point where it's located on a number line. Ordering them means to order them first, second, and third, and there's two different ways that we could order them. An ascending order from least to greatest, and descending order from greatest to least. Now, I haven't really seen very many examples of descending order out there yet. But I'm assuming that because we're comparing and we could have a number that would be greater than, that we should keep that open, that it could go from greatest to least, and that's what I do with taking on the B.E.S.T. Okay, so be ready with both of them. They also need to know these signs that we will compare them using the less than, greater than, or equal to sign. And decimals, of course, have that decimal point in the number. And in 4th grade is their first experience with decimal numbers. We're going to go to the hundredths place, so that would be if here's our decimal, this is the ones or the wholes place, then we have our tenths and our hundredths, which is all new content for 4th grade this year. In this example right here, I just wanted to point out that this is ascending order right here, which means that we're going from least to greatest. So given these numbers, this is how you could order them from least to greatest, and notice that they are separated with semicolons. This is helpful because usually when we write numbers, we have commas in numbers to separate periods, and we can use a semicolon to make it look different between the separation of each number. All right, what else? So when comparing these numbers, we will be using an appropriately scaled number line. That is huge, and also using place values of ones, tenths, and hundredths. Now, look at this crazy web I have over here. These are the related benchmarks, so the 4th grade standards that align with this one that we can use with it. So first we have MA.4.NSO.1.5, which is where we're talking about 1/10 more or less, and also 1/100th more or less. It also connects to 2.7, where we will add and subtract decimal numbers. In 4.FR.1.2, that's where we have denominators of 10 or 100, and we're converting from fractions to decimals or decimals to fractions. 1.4 for those FR strands is where we're plotting, ordering, and comparing fractions. And we also have some DP, data analysis and probability, where we have stem and leaf plots and line plots, and then also determining the mode, median, and range of numbers. Now, I was kind of surprised that they did not mention, that the Florida Department of Education did not include the NSO.1.3. I'm going to write that one in there, actually. I'm surprised they didn't include it, but I'm also surprised I didn't. I would also say that this one right here definitely aligns to it. This is where we're plotting, ordering, and let me put the MA there first, sorry. MA.4.NSO.1.3 is plotting, ordering, and comparing whole numbers up to the millions, I believe. So they should have some experience with plotting, ordering, and comparing numbers, but now we're doing it with decimals. So that's a lot going on there. I apologize about that, but the Department of Education included that, and I wanted to make sure I touched base on that too, okay? So where are they coming from? Well, in 4th grade, we talked about they're coming from this standard, but also in 3rd grade, they will be plotting, ordering, and comparing numbers up to 10,000. The thing is, this is as of recording this video, this is our first year of the implementation of the B.E.S.T standards, so they might not come as well equipped to rock and roll with these number line comparisons as we would like, but we will get them there, right? And then next year, MA.4.NSO.1.5, we will plot, order, and compare decimal numbers to the thousandths. So the only difference here is that we're going to the thousandths place, where this standard stops at the hundredths place. Cool? All right, now purpose and instructional strategies. I made sure to underline this. These are the things that kind of jumped out at me, that grade 4 contains the first work with decimals. Therefore, we need to make it very concrete. Decimals can be an interesting thing, especially because we're changing the way place value blocks look. For instance, the 100 block, I don't have them with me right now, but the 100 flat now becomes the 1 when we're representing. The 10 rod becomes the 10th. The 100, the little 1 unit cube becomes a 100th. We're changing the way that looks to make it make sense, but it does take some processing. We need to give them time to process what decimals are, which is why I said here, we need time. They need to understand place values before we enter into all this. And number lines are big with the B.E.S.T standards, is what I'm seeing, is what I've been realizing when I've been studying and exploring them. And I like it because number lines carry on into middle school, and it does show great representation of number sense. And so I'm all about that. It's just going to take some time for us to get our students where they need to be for that. Also, we'll use area models for this standard, which I'll show you some examples of that when we get into the resources that you have access to with taking on the B.E.S.T. Some errors or misconceptions they might have is saying that, like, okay, if this is for hundredths and this is for tenths, their students are used to hundreds being greater than tens, and now we're changing it where the hundredth is less than the tenth. So it will make more sense the more that you can break it down with place value blocks or area models. Now for the instructional tasks, I just wanted to point out here, I said, see how they wove in this standard, MA.4.NSO.1.2, where we have our decomposing numbers. Actually, I think, 4.NSO.1.2 does not include decimal numbers. This is just kind of saying students should be able to know how to read and write decimals as well, I guess, which wasn't specifically said without that. So just be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go ahead and mark that wrong. This is not the right standard for that, so don't think about that. But just what I'm trying to say is pay attention to how they're also decomposing numbers there too with decimals. See all the values that would make the comparison true. So I have mentioned here just teaching your students to plug in every choice and evaluate there. All right, so that's what I was thinking as I was looking through this standard, but let me show you what you have access to with your membership. All right, so you're gonna go to, here's the website, members enter here or up top at the tab. We're going to taking on the B.E.S.T. We're looking at 4th grade. We are in the NSO strand. And we're plotting, ordering, and comparing decimal numbers. So here, for the bronze membership, you have access to all of these video lessons right here, which happen to be 2 for this standard, and the printable guides right there. So this video talks about ordering and comparing decimal numbers using an area model. Here's a video lesson printable for that. So you can see what we're going to be doing. Here's the area model that I was talking about. And we will shade in these decimals to represent them, then list them in ascending order and compare them. And then for for the next video, video number 2, we have plotting, ordering, and comparing decimals using a number line. We have 2 examples here that we break down, and you can see here I just stuck with the ascending order for this one, comparing from greatest to least, because we have a lot going on here that I've had the lessons just focusing on plotting and ordering them. Okay, so those are your bronze resources. And then if you have the silver plan, you have access to more. So here's what you have access to. You have your bronze if you want to go back. You also have these printables and answer keys and the math misconception mystery video for this one. So you have your video icon that stands for a video lesson, like we just saw in the bronze resource. After they finish the video lesson, now you have extra practice that looks very similar to what we just did in the video lesson there. Okay. And we have the other video lesson, video number 2, with a few practice pages there. Then you have a math mission, and here's where I included that greatest to least descending order, where we're putting everything together here. Okay, and then you have a math misconception mystery episode that I pointed out before, but the problem today is select all the values that would make the following comparison statement true. It's similar to that one that the Department of Education provided. So you can see, so with this one, your students should solve the problem first, and the video walks them through all this. They'll solve the problem first, and then they'll be introduced to the 4 characters, which are really just me, dressed up in silly costumes. 3 of those characters solve the problem incorrectly. One of them has the most reasonable answer. After each character presents how they solve the problem, you will take time to pause and allow your students to jot down their notes. And finally, they fill out their detective report. They'll state who has the most reasonable answer, why, so they're justifying it. And then the other 3 characters, what did they do that was correct? What was their mistake? And what do they need to know for next time? So these are super fun. And there is an answer key for all that too. This is the video. This is where you can click the video, you can full screen it, all that. And then if you have the gold plan, you have access to the mini assessment, which I'll click it so you can see it real quick. I'm sure that your county has assessments for you to pull from, and this is just some extra practice for you there. Okay, and your mini assessment answer key. This is where the breaking down the best video goes, what you're watching right here. Now, these videos are available on other forms of social media. However, inside the gold package, they are available ad-free. And the biggest difference between the silver and the gold is that there's the inclusion of McCarthy Math 155, which was aligned to the Common Core standards. So if you go there, you can click the grade that you're looking for. Okay, and because we are comparing decimals, there are videos inside of this unit right here where they're comparing decimals here. So you can take a look at those. These are just extra guided practice with the videos and the same resource that we're using there with the gold. Okay. All right. So that's what you have access to for this standard with your memberships. So I hope that was helpful in breaking down the standard. I hope it makes sense. This is a heavy standard, but your students can do it. Before we go, let me remind you that what you choose to wake up and do with your life every single day as a teacher, it really does matter. Our students need you more than ever, and I'm super grateful for all that you continue to do for your students, because our students are the future. We may never know how our time spent with our students truly impacts and helps them to grow into the person that they were born to be. But we have to trust that what we do every single day, it does make a difference. So thank you for all that you do. I know that you are working hard, and if nobody told you that you're awesome today, here's me telling you that you're awesome. I love teachers. I just believe in this profession, and I thank you for all that you do. So I hope to see you next time on the next episode of Breaking Down the Best. Until then, bye-bye. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best.
of my ability. All right, for real now. Bye.